So today I don't have much to talk about. I just thought let me share some of the lessons from top manager Buyisiwe Xwai. She shared some notes with us at the convention, and these are the five that I picked up that I just want to also share with you as you are trying to grow and build your business. So the first one was address your weakness. And this really touched me because you have to be aware of your weaknesses for you to be able to address them. In most cases, you know that this is my area of weakness, and we just try to brush it off and to work around it and just say, you know me, I don't have patience, so I can't deal with people, and then we just leave it like that. But one thing that we learned was those weaknesses, they will come back, and haunt you in your business. They will destroy your business if you don't make an effort to address them and to better yourself. So if you know that I can't present, I can't talk to people, I don't have patience, I don't have this, what is it that you are doing to address that weakness, to improve on that weakness so that you can build your business? Because talking to people is a skill that you need to grow. If you are looking to move up, to level up, there are some skills that you have to have. For me, one of my weaknesses was talking to people as well. I was not a very outgoing, chatty person that I could just go approach people in the street and talk to them face to face. It's something I was not comfortable with. I was very much comfortable with me waking up, going to my office, coming back home and sleeping and all of that. But when I started Forever, I had to work on that because for me to build my business, I have to be out there, I have to be talking to people, and I have to share, the products. So I had to now start getting out of my comfort zone, going out, talking to people. It's never easy the first time that you do it, and you make a lot of mistakes. But if you keep showing up, eventually, you can manage your weaknesses. You are able to know, okay, this is how I need to approach people if I'm talking to them. And I feel like it never really goes away, but you learn how to get over that fear and do what you need to do for your business. So, what is your weakness? Maybe it's communication. Maybe you're not patient enough, and then you have to deal with, when you're dealing with other people and you're dealing with a team, people learn at different paces. Some understand, some need a little bit more explanation, and that requires patience. So if you just tell yourself, hey, I don't have patience, I can't do this, then what is going to happen? Your team is going to fail because if you are not patient, then you can't impart the knowledge that you have to your downlines. And if they feel they can't learn from you, they also distance themselves and they probably end up quitting the business. So, as a leader, you have to know where your weaknesses lie and you have to start addressing them. You have to start working on them. And it will be a process, it will be a conscious effort. Sometimes you have to tell yourself, let me count to 10 before I respond, because you know that your weakness is sometimes you respond in a manner that is not correct. So, as a leader, know and address your weaknesses. That is the only way that you can grow in the business. The second thing that she taught us was to nurture your strength. And this applies to us as individuals, but I feel like it also applies to us as leaders in that, when you have a team, you have people that have different skills. And I've seen in most cases, we are tempted to feel like I'm the leader, so I know this and they must listen to me and I'm gonna do this and they just need to follow. But when you are a leader, you are working with people that have, they are from different backgrounds. They have different strengths. They know, they are good at different things. And as a leader, you have to nurture those things in your downlines. So you have a downline that you see, oh, this one, she's very good at planning. Give her the responsibility of planning the events in your team. That is how you nurture their strength. Maximize on what each and everyone in your team is good at so that you grow them in the area that they are good at. But if you just tell yourself, I'm going to be doing everything, you are the one who plans the meetings, you do the posters, you do the presenting, everything in your team is done by you. Sometimes you actually end up killing the strength that is in the other business partners that you have. So, as a leader, be able to identify the strengths that your team members have and nurture them, encourage them. There are some people that you can see, this one, she has a very powerful story, but maybe she's shy to talk. Start giving her small platforms. Maybe you have a meeting with your team and it's just the five of you. Allow that person to, speak, to share their story. When you have a presentation, call them into, as you do that, you are actually developing that skill because they start to get comfortable with talking in front of people. And before you know it, they are taking over the presentations and they are doing the presentations. So don't be someone who wants to do everything. Nurture the strength, identify the strength that people in your team have, and work together to maximize the results that you get. Because if you just say, I'm going to do everything because I know, sometimes people get tired of hearing the same story, or sometimes people can't relate to you at the level at which you are. But if you allow others to come up and also take the platform, that can be very good for your business. And it also helps you in times when, let's say, God forbid, you are not feeling well, you are unable to travel for a presentation. If you have not taken the time to, mentor and coach your team to become independent of you, it means the time that you're not available for business, what is happening? Everything is at a stand still. So no one can do presentations, no one can do the posters. So while Heather is away for the next 2 weeks, no one is doing business. And that becomes a disadvantage because then it impacts the CCs, the movement of products, the activity that is happening in the team. So nurture other people's strength, allow them, to take on some responsibility in the team. And of course, it applies to you in your personal capacity as well. Know what you are good at and use it to your advantage in order to build yourself and to build your team. I hope I have people with me that are following. The third thing that I learned was communication builds relationships. And one of the main things that, we were taught was sometimes as leaders, we forget that the people that you are working with, in as much as you are a team looking for CCs and everything, they are also still people, which means be human as a leader. Communicate with your team properly. It mustn't always just be how far are you with your 4 assistants, how far are you with supervisor, let's go manager. You guys, you haven't sold anything this week. What is happening? Communicate with your team, check on them just to find out how are you doing? How's your week going? How's work? How's home? build a proper relationship with your team in such a way that they are able to even open up to you as their leader. So it's not just about the CCs or the business. We are also working and dealing with people, and we need to communicate with them. One of the other things that was mentioned is the issue of just forwarding messages and broadcast lists and all of that. People can tell when you are not being human, when it's just, this is just a robotic response. This is something that has been forwarded to everyone. And people lose interest. And you will be saying, my team doesn't want to work, my team doesn't do this, my team that, because they don't have a relationship with you. They don't feel comfortable enough, to come to you, to work with you, to have a chat with you. So make sure you are communicating properly with your team. You are checking up on them. And this also applies even with, your prospects. Sometimes people are going through a lot of things and don't always take everything personal. Sometimes you could speak to a prospect today, they are interested in the business, they want to start. Maybe a family member passes on later in the evening and they just get carried away with all the arrangements and the what. And 1 week later, maybe they still haven't sent you the documents that you wanted. And how you communicate with that person will make a difference in terms of whether they are going to join your team or not. Because if your message goes and it says something like, hi, you said you were going to join last week and I haven't heard from you. Following up to see when are you going to send the money. And this is someone who's just maybe lost someone who's close to them and they are dealing with a lot. They will feel like you are not humane, you know. So then, even if when they get better and they feel like I'm ready to start, in most cases, they will go and join somewhere else. Then you'll feel like people are poaching my prospects. But how are you communicating with people? If you had a chat with someone and they say they are going to join, when you follow up, just check on them. Hi, how are you doing? I didn't hear back from you, so I just wanted to check if you're okay. Just find out, check on the person before you are talking about the money and the CCs. And sometimes they actually open up to you. I had a prospect tell me, no, my husband passed on and he was the breadwinner. And, I've just been dealing with a lot this past 2 weeks because now I need to get a job. I have kids that I need to take to school. But if you just focus on, I'm following up. You haven't sent the money. You haven't sent the money. Where's the money? When are you joining? That type of communication can actually break the relationship. So build relationships with people over and above the CCs and the money for the box and when are you starting. Just be a person first. Your prospect said they will join end of the month. Don't wait until end of the month to send them a message to say, oh, it's end of the month. Are you starting? You have their number. Sometimes maybe they've posted the birthday of the child. Just say happy birthday, or it's a function that is happening. Maybe they are looking good. Oh, hi, how are you doing? You're looking nice on your profile picture. Create and build a relationship. Then when you are following up in terms of when are you starting and all of that, you've built a certain type of relationship that allows them to open up. And that also shows them, you know what, if I'm joining this is a community. These are people that are actually interested in my well-being as a person before the money. So communication builds relationships and it works with your downlines and also with your prospects. The last thing that we were taught about communication is they said the negatives go up and the positives go down, which means the leaders that are here, or the leaders, when you are communicating with your downline, be positive, be energetic, don't call your downlines to complain about the company, about the CCs, about maybe you are not happy with your bonus recap. All the negatives go up, which means they go to your upline. That is where you can go and cry and be negative and be whatever you need to be and get all the help that you need. But when you are coming to the people that have trusted you to show them the way, be positive when you are talking to them. Don't call them to shout. Don't call them when you are frustrated and you just want to take it all out on someone. You know, when you go to your downline, you are positive, you are encouraging, you are supportive. So that's another thing that we learned in terms of communication. Then we learned about, as a leader, you have to be target driven. I think the statement that she made was accidental growth is very dangerous and it is not sustainable. So have a target. What are you working towards? How are you going to get there? What do you need to do in terms of activities for you to reach your target? Don't just operate your business in a, I'm not sure what word to use. You are just going with the flow. There is no direction. So as a leader, sit down, do your volume mapping, set your targets. What is it that I want to achieve? What is it that we want to achieve as a team? What are we working towards? Then you know that you have a goal that you are working for. It's not just whatever comes my way and then we just go. So when you have a target, it helps you, it keeps you motivated, you know what you're working towards. And when you achieve the target, it also boosts your confidence, it boosts the confidence of the team as well. So do your volume mapping, uh we had Kuchi, she was sharing that even up to now, every single month she does her volume map and she sends it to her upline. That is someone who's now a Diamond Sapphire manager, and they still do their volume mapping, they still share it with their upline. But for some of us, we feel like, I'm now a supervisor. I don't need to share my volume map. I don't need to do the volume map. I have a team now. I can do this on my own. So set targets, share them with your upline, set targets with your team as well, and work towards them. Don't just operate. We were being taught that operate with professionalism. The mistake that most of us as FBOs make is because we say this is a side hustle, we don't treat it as seriously as we would if, we were working for someone. But if you look at even the companies that you work for, when you start the year, you have targets, you have a program. This is what we want to achieve. This is what we want to do. This is what is expected of you. Do the same with your organization. So don't just treat it as a side hustle. Be an organization that has targets and you have a plan in terms of how are we going to reach the targets, and you will see yourself starting to move up. But if you just operate, there is no target, there are no goals, it's just whatever comes my way, then of course you will struggle with your 4CC. Of course, you will struggle with your team coming to align with your vision because there is no goal that everyone is working towards. And then the last tip that they gave us is travel to build. I've heard a lot of FBOs say, in my area, the people that I stay with, they don't buy these products. They say the products are expensive or they don't have money to join. Travel to build, in some people might be assistant supervisors. Maybe it's not feasible for you to be globe-trotting, trying to build your team. But one thing that Forever has done for us is they are hosting presentations in different areas. There's a presentation in East London, in Durban, in Limpopo, here in Johannesburg, in Pretoria. There are always presentations everywhere, Namibia, Botswana, and you don't need to be there to invite. So if you are just going to focus on this small area of yours that you come from or that you stay, then you are going to hinder your growth because you will keep speaking to the same people over and over again, and they are telling you the products are expensive. So when you get the opportunity to build outside of your area, do it. If there's a presentation in East London and you can't travel, but you have your phone. Most of us, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. Post about the presentation, promote it to people in the area so that they can attend the presentation. So you don't have to be physically present for you to build in that area. So do not stunt your growth by just focusing on the small area in which you are. If you can travel, travel. If you cannot travel, take advantage of the presentations that are happening in the different areas and start inviting your prospects to attend. We also have Zoom sessions, presentations weekly. We have product trainings. Invite your customers, invite your prospects so that they attend. And that is how, you can also build your business. So just 5 lessons from what I learned from our top leaders. I will be sharing more and more lessons as we go, but I just want to encourage you to say, show up for the 5 a.m. sessions and help to share your story. I hope you found value in today's lessons. Just let me know there in the chat which one is your favorite one and what are you going to go and start implementing. I see I have a few messages in the chat. All right. All right. No, that is great. So these are the 5 lessons I wanted to share with you today. And let's go out and let's start implementing them so that we can see